usually record this meeting and cut it into small pieces, and we piece it together. And for people who have not been able to attend this meeting to be able to gain something from it later. And so yes, we'll be recording this meeting. I hope you're fine with that, Sarah and Carol.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yes, I'm fine with it.
Okay, so welcome everyone to the email that was sent out by our head of communications, Mr. Joseph, indicated that it is the third event, but this is the fourth career event in Mfano Africa. So Mfano Africa is a mathematics mentorship scheme that is targeting students who are seeking to build careers in mathematics, research careers in mathematics. So these are students who have finished their masters, or students who are doing their masters, or students who are in their final year undergraduate, or students who are in their third year. So advanced undergraduates, masters, and students who are applying for their PhD. So the intention of this platform or this scheme to be able to link these students to mentors. It is usually very hard for a student who is researching in a particular area and they don't have people to talk to. It is usually very hard for them to be able to understand some things that they are working on. And so this platform, we talk to people from across the world to be able to act these students in some way through giving crash courses or events like this, where speakers like Sarah and moderators like Carol can be able to mentor these students by sharing their story, the challenges that they've gone through and how they've been able to pass through these challenges and get the opportunities that they have. And so this platform is it's a few weeks old. It's a month old now, and we are grateful that we are already getting funding. And recently, I was elected a fellow of equality and diversity in the University of Oxford's Division of Mathematics, Physical Sciences, and Life Sciences, and this comes with a budget. And at some point next year, we'll be able to advertise a position for students to be able to visit Oxford, to be able to get in touch with their mentors, to be mentored for a couple of weeks, and be able to help to apply for PhD positions. And so I welcome you all to this meeting. Our moderator for this event will be Carol Namanya. Carol Namanya is a PhD student at the University of Makerere. She has an advisor, Michael Wemis, who is a professor at Glasgow, and she also has an advisor in Makerere. She recently got a very fantastic award. It's a breakout. She will tell us about this. It's a IMU BGF fellowship, which gives her a grant to be able to do a PhD from the University of Makerere. So we are happy for Carol for this award, and we wish her all the best in her research. So our speaker for today is Sarah Nakato, who is a postdoc at University of Graz in Austria, and she completed her PhD a couple of months ago. And she will also want to, in this event, be able to share with students, especially female students, on her journey and some of the challenges she had, and how these students, female students in African context, can be able to pass through these challenges. And therefore, I welcome everyone and give this our platform to Carol to be able to tell us more about herself and also introduce the speaker.
Hello, everyone. I am happy to be here. I'm called Caroline Namanya, or Carol. I'm a PhD student at Makerere University. I work on, I could say, chamber structures from 3 flops with Michael Wims at University of Glasgow and David Severi at my university, Makerere University, Uganda. I recently was awarded the award, the IMU, International Mathematical Union, for a graduate breakout fellowship to do my PhD, which I do in Makerere. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be a mentor. In case of anything, you just have to ask. But before I pass on to Sarah, because Sarah today has slides she's going to present, and then we can ask questions later on. Before I pass on to Sarah, I am seeing someone called Dileta. If I would wish to recognize her because she's among the very first people that ever introduced me to birational geometry, which has something to do with the work I'm doing. Like, it was really, I met her in Nairobi in 2017, 17? And she really did great. So I cannot go without recognizing her. Geoffrey Mboya, I've met him on...
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's amazing too.
She's very keen on helping African students, and I am happy that she found time to be here with us. So
yeah, no, let me just say it's really a great initiative, and I'm really glad you sent me the link and I could participate. So I'm really happy to be here and see some of the people that I saw at the workshop in Nairobi. So it's really a nice event. Thanks.
Okay, so thank you, Carol, for the introduction, and also Geoffrey. Yeah, I remember it was Geoffrey who introduced me. Sorry, because Carol was the moderator. So thank you for the introduction. So I decided to make slides because I thought I'm the only presenter, in other words, so I thought maybe it would be a little boring if I don't have slides to show or something like that. So I decided to make slides to make it a little lively. So I hope I was right that it will be lively. So I'll share my slides. I'll share, but I'm disabled.
So,
sorry, let me allow.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can now share. Sorry.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so where are we? Here. Then I have to share. Are you seeing something?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I started with Geoffrey and Carol. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm really excited to share with you my journey. I'm hopeful someone will get something out of it. So I'm Sarah Nakato, like how Geoffrey said it. I'm Sarah Nakato, and I'm currently at Brazil University of Technology. I'm now a postdoc here, and it's where I did my PhD from. So thank you for the opportunity, Geoffrey, to share my experience here. Okay, so I'll start with my academic journey. Straight away from the primary level, I went to the school, Bishop's West Primary School, and this photo is a representative high school. We put on this uniform exactly, and it also shows part of my life at primary level. I was a netballer. I was very active in sports. But what is important is I was a very good student. Sorry. So I was a very good student at this level, and I did very well. But because I had many friends, I was a very good student, but I was also very playful. I had many friends. I was tiny like this kawan behind, that kawan. And I had many friends. So my parents decided to isolate me at secondary level because I was a promising child, but I was also very playful with many friends in the village. So secondary level, I was taken to this school. So in Uganda, we have 2 levels at the secondary level, the ordinary level and the advanced level. So at the ordinary level, I was taken to a boarding school, this particular one, St. Matthias Kalemba Senior Secondary School. and it was an excellent school. So the photo reflects that. So this day they were celebrating results, O-level results. So I did well at this level. I remember the only challenge, I faced some challenges. So one of the challenges was peer pressure. So I was in this school, an excellent school. I was only there because I had good grades, but basically it was a town school. It attracted town capital students from the town, from the capital. So I faced a little peer pressure to fit in. So I was a village girl, but just because I had good grades, so I ended up in this school. But anyways, I was able to overcome that and I did well. Another challenge was financial. I remember I struggled a little. I was always home for fees, but nevertheless, I did well at this level. So from this level, so because I had financial issues, I had to change the school. I didn't go back to this school. So I went to, for the advanced level, I went to Bishop Senior School, Mukono. And I did physics, chemistry, and math. So these were my best subjects, physics, chemistry, and math. So at this level still, I had financial challenges. And at that time, they hit me seriously because like I was a science student, but I was always home. So it affected me. So it was a day school, but still to enter school, you needed a gate pass. And getting the gate pass requires completion of school fees. So it affected me greatly at that level. So which other challenge? I think that was the only challenge. So I will summarize, but anyways, I overcame also the effects of poverty and I was able to be enrolled at the university under government sponsorship. So not for the course read I wanted, but yes, I managed. So I'll maybe summarize the challenges. Okay, so I chose to summarize the challenges and the remedies because I still apply some of these now. So peer pressure was, like I said, was mainly at the O-level, ordinary level, trying to fit in. So how did I overcome that? By having quiet time. So amidst all excitement, plans at school and what with these city students, I could isolate myself and think for myself. Like I could think about how my parents are sacrificing whatever they have to keep me in school. So that shaped me. And this is still shaping me till now, having quiet time. I think it's also important for all of us, like in case say a business plan. So I mean, it's the excitement. We do this, we do this, we do that. It's always better to isolate yourself and think through things before making some decisions. So I'm still applying this up now. So that's why I felt I should highlight these remedies. So another challenge was danger between school and home and in the society. So being a girl child, you know exactly what happens, especially in Africa. So along the way, these men, and also a big challenge I had was like at advanced level, I was a day scholar. So I could move from school like at 10 p.m. in the night alone. So I can't say I took any measures apart from just trusting God. So he protected me. So it was God's protection. And also maybe I have to mention this. So the constant factor throughout my journey is God's grace. I'm certain about that. Okay, so another challenge was poverty. So this hit me from primary level, but the effects weren't that much at primary and O level. But at the advanced level, I felt it because I was always home and it was too much torture for me. Like, you're a science student, you're trying to understand stuff, but you're reading them on your own. So how did I overcome or minimize the effects of poverty? I refused to feel sorry for myself. That's the first thing I did. So it was enough torture to keep away from school. So I decided to remain strong and attack this challenge boldly. So how, in other words, I thought beyond my limitations and also asked for help. So like I didn't ask for financial help, but like I asked what others could offer. For example, textbooks. My friends had textbooks, so they could give me their textbooks and I read from home. Then also some could pass by our home and showed me the notes. Then also I opened up to my math teachers. I remember they loved me so much, the math teacher and the chemistry teachers. So I remember the chemistry teacher told me like to come to school at least during lunchtime so that at least I attend the practicals, because yes, I could read from home, but I could not do the practicals from home, obviously. So I could come during lunchtime, and I remember my friends were making fun of me. Yeah, our superstar, she comes during lunch, what? So they thought it was my choice to come at lunch. So they're just making fun of it. But yeah, and I was also making fun out of it. I was like, yeah, I'm a superstar. I don't have to keep in school, what? But my real friends knew my struggles. Anyways, so the teacher, I remember the math teacher was the director of studies. He even, for some months, gave me a gate pass, even without completing the school fees, just to keep me in school. So I really appreciate those teachers, and they helped me a lot. Now the physics, like I said, at advanced level, I was doing physics, chemistry, and math. The physics teacher was a part-timer, so he didn't really have time for us. So he could just drop in and teach. He didn't know what was going on. So that affected me in physics. Anyway, now that I did the chemistry and math, that leads me to the last point, how I overcame or minimized the effects of poverty, because it really affected my academics. So I was realistic. I chose to be realistic. How? Like, I accepted the reality that I'm not getting help from physics. So I maximized, I tried to focus on chemistry and math. So I was doing PCM, but I chose to focus on chemistry and math because I was getting some help, and these were my best subjects since O level. So that helped me to capitalize on this, and I put in some effort in physics. Yeah, but of course it wasn't helpful that much. Now, another way I was realistic is normally at the end of advanced level, after doing the exams, like we apply for admission to the university, there's a possibility of getting government sponsorship. So I decided, and normally we get access to like the previous cutoff points, yeah? So, and they show essentials, how they calculate these points. So what I did, I was like, okay, I'm strong in chemistry and math. I have to look for courses where the essentials are chemistry and math. So that's what I did. So I remember that my first choice was industrial chemistry, and the cutoff was high, but I was like, just in case I really excel, I should go for that. But then in my mind, I was certain I was to do education, Bachelor of Science with Education. So why did I want Bachelor of Science with Education? Because the essentials for Bachelor of Science with Education were the best 2 done subjects. So I was like, okay, this is a backup plan, just in case chemistry also backfires. So maybe, and I do well in physics. So I opted for Bachelor of Science with Education when filling in those forms. Throughout all the public universities, I filled Bachelor of Science with Education. Then another reason I chose Bachelor of Science with Education, I was already looking at a job before even starting the bachelor's. So I was looking at getting a job immediately, and at that time, like you were certain of a job if you were a teacher, especially if you're a math teacher. So why was I interested in a job? Because I had a follower, I had my sister. So I'm sorry. So I didn't want her to go, no, this shouldn't be happening. Okay, so I didn't want my sister to go through what I went through. So yes, I'll take some water. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, so I didn't want my sister to go through what I went through. So I was looking at a job immediately, a course which would give me a job immediately. So yeah, so that's why I opted. Another reason I opted for Bachelor of Science with Education. Then another reason was I felt strong in, but that wasn't really a big reason. But I felt I was supposed to be a teacher. Why? Because like I said, I was almost never at school at the advanced level, but whenever my school went out for like seminars, there was always a spot for me to present. So they could send me the questions, I worked through them, I had to present. So, and from people's compliments and my teachers, I saw that my teachers had seen something I wasn't seeing maybe, but they were very clear. They were so concerned because the math teacher, I remember, even sent one of the students, like he could send him to teach me at home. He made sure this person teaches me, one of the best students at that time. So they had seen anyway, they had seen something in me that maybe I wasn't seeing. So yeah, so from the encouragement and the compliments of others, I felt I would be a teacher. Anyways, so applying these strategies, that's how I ended up at Chambogo University. I was given a Bachelor of Science with Education course on government sponsorship. Yeah, at that level, I didn't really face any challenge because they were paying tuition, accommodation, and also the meals. So those were my problems before. Maybe one thing which affected me, I was so much into sports. I remember I was at the university team. So many times we traveled, but anyway, that didn't affect me. I balanced somehow. Anyways, so from Chambogo, I trained as a teacher. And I majored in mathematics. So I was a math teacher. And before graduation, I was already teaching because, I needed money. So before graduation, I was already teaching. And I remember once I graduated in January. In February, I was in this school, Hilton High School. So it's an excellent school in Uganda. I applied immediately and got a position here. So when at Hilton High School, they didn't have a load for me. It's an excellent school, but like they wanted to take me up, but they didn't have like a full load for me. So they told me to first be partially in the library, then at the same time start teaching. So they basically gave me that job because of my grades. So they saw like a big potential, maybe. Yeah, so after 1 year, I started the real teaching. So it was an amazing experience at the school with very good students, and I enjoyed teaching because I came with a different approach. Remember, it's hard to separate a math teacher in Africa. It's hard to separate a math teacher from caning, yeah? So I came with a different approach to understand the students. So maybe something we don't really admit is math can be hard for some students. It can really be hard, not because someone is non-focusing or what, but at some point I was like, is it a talent or? So I saw it was hard for some students. So and caning them could just make them hate the subject. So I chose to understand them, and I could give them some simple questions. And once they solved them, it was like a miracle. They were like, I can even solve something in maths, So they gained some confidence, and it was amazing. I liked teaching at Hilton High School. So at Hilton High School, like I wasn't thinking about the masters. Why? Because we know in Africa, teaching, we get peanuts, I should say. So it's only to meet your basic needs. But at the same time, I was paying for my sister's fees. Maybe something I didn't mention. Why was I paying fees, or what happened to my parents? I have both parents, but in Uganda, we had a war that brought this government into power, the current government into power. So literally, people went back to zero. So my parents lost the job, they lost everything. So there was and I already had sisters, big sisters. So they started from scratch. So they just created small jobs for survival. So that's how we ran into the poverty. Anyway, so at Hilton, I was still at Hilton. Like I said, I wasn't really thinking about masters because I had another dependent. But so how did I join the masters? I remember at this level at Hilton High School, it's a private school. So what we were really talking about was getting a public school or a government school. And indeed, I applied and I got a government school. So that were our conversations. How do we move from private to government for job security? Because if in a private school, at times you're not very sure if they will substitute you anytime or what. Yeah, so I got a government school, and where am I living? Hilton High School, still on the screen. I remember I was walking around and I met a colleague from this particular school. He had some papers. So I asked him what they were, and he was like, I'm applying for a scholarship. I was like, what? Like, I'd never heard about scholarships, like internal scholarships, other than the government scholarship actually at undergraduate. So he told me, if you're interested, you can photocopy. So I photocopied the papers, also sent to some of my friends, and we applied. So the moment I sent in my application for that scholarship, so in my mind, I was like, there could be other scholarships. So it was around the same time for admissions at Makerere. I applied for admission at Makerere as I wait for the results of the scholarship. But in my mind, I was like, there could be others. I just don't have the information. So when I applied for that scholarship, I was shortlisted for the interview and I succeeded. And that's how I ended up at Makerere University for a Master of Science in Mathematics. So at Makerere University, there are two courses at master courses in mathematics. So this is mainly the pure one, and there is also mathematical modeling. So I remember my friends, like we had a choice, even when I was given Master of Science, you could change to modeling. So my first days at the university, I was discouraged. They told me no one has ever graduated in that course. No one, because it's very hard. So like, to be on a safer side, choose mathematical modeling. You won't graduate. I was like, why aren't they graduating? Because it's very hard. Pure math is hard. I was like, okay. So I went home, checked my transcript, and I was always keeping my marks for undergraduate. My best mark was in abstract algebra at undergraduate. Then I checked, I compared my grades with pure and the applied courses. I had better grades in the pure courses. I was like, okay, maybe they are hard for these people. The pure courses are hard for these people, but they are easy. According to these records, I have the potential. So I stood board and did the Master of Science in Mathematics, and I finished time. So the only challenge till now was financial. Of course, I got a scholarship, and the stipend was basically for my basic needs. But around that time, my sister was now at the university and she was on private. So it was heavy on me. So the stipend was basically for accommodation and meals, but I had to go back to school to teach. So that affected me somehow, but nevertheless, I did well. And at master's, my research was in algebra, specifically ring theory, with Carol's supervisor, Dr. Severi. Okay, so at master's level, because of the environment, we're already talking about PhDs. And actually, in my mind, I was like, I already knew what to do. I knew I was to do a PhD. I didn't know how, but I knew how because I already knew scholarships exist. The moment I submitted my thesis for evaluation, I started applying. I applied all over the world. I got rejections. I continued applying. Finally, I ended up here. Finally, I ended up at Graz University of Technology. I got an acceptance and I ended up at Graz University of Technology. So at Graz University of Technology, I was enrolled as a PhD student, but my master's, like they said, it lacked core courses, what they call core here. They were missing on my transcript. So they told me to first do those courses for 1 year. They saw the potential, but I also needed grounding, So I did courses for 1 year. And then I started a PhD officially after a year. So the only challenge, it's been a little smooth here. The only challenge, health issues. Like I'm one of those people who work and forget to eat, but I learned the hard way, so I eat now. So yeah, I faced health issues, health problems, because I wasn't eating well. I could even forget to eat because I was working. So I fell sick, but yeah, I'm fine. And I try to eat now. So another challenge, the language barrier, yes, because, okay, at the university, it's not a problem. In my institute, it's not a problem because PhD level, it's mainly English and everyone is speaking English. But at undergraduate, they use German. So if you're to teach, you must know German. So at master's, of course, the master courses are in English, but of course they can't trust us with the PhD students. They can't trust us with the master students. So all we do are the exercise classes. But otherwise, if I knew the language, I would have taught at undergraduate. Anyway, so like I said, this PhD level has been a little smooth. Apart from maybe the challenge, the health issues and the language barrier, I have very good supervisors and they are females. It's been an amazing experience, they are very good people and very honest. Like I normally want someone who tells me when I'm wrong, that I'm wrong. I want honest people. So they tell me, whenever I'm wrong, they tell me openly, that is stupid. So that gives me confidence, yeah, that when I do something and they don't say it's stupid, then I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, you know? So it has given me confidence. And they have also shared their weaknesses. Like, yeah, they share their weaknesses, they share their struggles. So it's really been an amazing experience. And from here, I also learned that, like from Africa, when you say that you don't know something, it's labeled as being stupid. So when I came here, I remember the first seminar I attended, one of the pioneers in my area was asked a question and he said he didn't know. I was like, okay. So I can even say I don't know. So from Africa, like I could even fear saying I don't know how, because people would say you're stupid. But then I was like, he's nowhere stupid. He's not stupid, but he's bold to say I don't know. And it only means he doesn't know. It doesn't mean he's stupid. Wow. So that gave me confidence, like to give talks in conferences, because I was like, if I don't know something, it doesn't mean I'm stupid. I just don't know. Yeah. So those are some of the things I've really learned from this PhD level. It's been amazing. And these are some of the fruits. So I was able to have these publications. I've been working in commutative algebra, mainly focusing on factorization theory in certain rings of integer valued polynomials. Okay, so yeah, those are some of the, not some, these are my publications. I don't have more. I won't say some of the publications. These are the only publications I have. But of course, we are working on many things now. Basically, I'm also working on many things. Anyway, so another fruit is this recent talk. Before I didn't see the weight, like I told my supervisor about this seminar, but I didn't see the weight of her presenting in our African mathematics seminar till like when she mentioned collaborations, and one was like, yes. So I also appreciate this because she's good at collaboration. So giving a talk, like she got contacts, and so they're gonna have collaborations with Africans. So that is one of the fruits. I appreciate it. This is my second supervisor. She gave a talk yesterday. Okay, so yeah, so I have to acknowledge my supervisors. So at MSc, my main supervisor was Dr. David Severi, with also Dr. Ansoboga, my second supervisor. Then at PhD, I worked with Professor Sophie Frisch and also Dr. Reisner. She was my second supervisor. And I'm continuing with Professor Sophie Frisch for another year. Yeah, I'll see after 1 year what will happen. Anyway, so for the scholarships, like undergraduate, I said I was supported by my government of Uganda. Then the MSc, the other scholarship I talked about was an internal scholarship, but by the government of Belgium. Then PhD, I was supported by the Austrian Science Fund. And under my supervisor's grant, Professor Sophie Frisch, and it's the same grant supporting my postdoc studies. Okay, so that is basically my academic journey. So I was told to share some of the challenges female mathematicians face. Okay, So some of the challenges, the first one I highlighted is society. The society tries to define us, women, you're not supposed to do this. You're not too good to do that. Even the men undermining us, not all men, some men, they don't see the potential in us. Also, you're supposed to be married at this age. It's a big challenge, yeah? So the society is constantly defining us or trying to make us fit in their definition of what we are supposed to be. How do we overcome that? Oh, one remedy I thought of is to have a deep understanding of yourself. So that has been helpful to me, by the way. Like, I understand my strengths and my weaknesses. Then I capitalize on my strengths and work on my weaknesses. So if you try to define me, I already know myself. So nothing can put me down. I'm sorry, but like, I don't allow anything to put me down because I know myself, Of course, it's not pride. It's good to listen to people's advices, but don't fit in everything they say, So you should have a deep understanding of yourself. Don't allow anybody define you. You must have your goals. We have different timelines. Don't allow someone to tell you you're supposed to be doing this at this time, at that. It worked for that person, but you're not that person. Yeah, so that's helpful. It's not pride, by the way, also to add on this, yeah, like, we have to listen to everyone. Let's have an open mind, but take out what suits you, or fit in what suits you, not everything. Anyways, another challenge is balancing work and family. So this has hit female mathematicians, especially in the pandemic. So for the men, you can lock yourself in a room and hide away from the children. As a mother cannot hide away, and she can't bear. Even when she's there, the heart is still this side where the children are. So that's a big challenge, balancing work and family. So another thing is, like, if you want to travel for conferences and you have children, like, at times it's hard, yeah? You can't just travel anywhere, especially like if you're married, yeah? Then another thing also, balancing work. Now to the singles also, like, if you're single, I don't know the strength math has. Possibly it's too strong that it scares off everyone, yeah? The moment someone mentions I'm a mathematician, oh my God. So the non-mathematicians, it's like they just run away. So they say, it's crazy, but it's true, So even the singles, we struggle if you're still single and you're a mathematician. So when you socialize, you make sure you don't talk about your mathematics. But still, the moment you talk about it, the conversation has to stop there. It's crazy, but it's true. Anyway, so how do we, some remedies I thought of. So like getting a house help. Of course, not hands off your children completely, but just get someone who can help you in some things. Then also discussing your plans with your spouse. Like, you don't just rebel. So you just discuss. For example, if you want to study, you discuss your plans and come to one decision. For the singles, I don't know. I don't know. I have no, because there's no way you can avoid talking about maths, but maybe to the singles, your husband is there. He will find you. He won't be intimidated by your maths, That's all I can say. Oh, another challenge are sexual advances from some men, some male supervisors. I'm saying some because not all of them. So most of them are very professional and they put their integrity before their feelings. So, but there are some still, there are some. So the good thing for my PhD, I worked like where I need very close contact, I worked with females. So honestly, it's been really a different situation for me. Yeah, but maybe what I thought about are the preventive measures. So the preventive measures, don't allow it to happen. Don't allow him to say this, because the last thing we want is to have a bad relationship with your supervisor. So how do you stop it? Keep the relationship professional from day one. Set boundaries from day one. Of course, not in a rude way, or don't throw it into his face that I know you will tell me this and what. No, because they are very different people. Like few of them do that. But like try to keep the relationship professional from day one. Avoid over familiarizing. You have no business. I mean, you don't discuss his other life. It should be strictly professional. Otherwise, you find yourself in a friendship and before you know, worse stuff. So don't allow him to mention that word. So another thing is to have a female mentor beforehand. So this applies to those who haven't really gotten the positions. Like it's better to have a female mentor. So it's no longer an excuse not to have a mentor because there are many ladies around today. There are many female mentors. So get that female mentor and make sure that you let them discuss, your supervisor and that mentor. So he should be aware of that mentor, such that he's certain there is another person having an eye on you. So that's a preventive measure also I also thought about. Okay, so, formal discrimination is another challenge. I called it formal discrimination. I don't know if it's the right word. So what do I mean? For example, promotions during on job, yeah? So for example, from senior lecturer to like associate professor. So the requirements for males and females are the same. But what we don't consider are the years. For example, they can ask for a certain number of publications. But what they're not looking at are the years this lady maybe took off for maternity leave or what. We are totally different. Men and women are totally different. But the requirements are the same. So I feel that's unfair, and I call it formal discrimination because it's kind of formal. These are requirements, but they can't apply. Say if you have 3 children, so that means roughly, let's say 2 years of inactivity. Another thing is under formal discrimination, conferences, plenary speakers. Should I say just they don't pretend or they don't know? Like normally, when they invite plenary speakers, they throw in 1 lady or 2 ladies and a whole bunch of men, you know? So men pretend that they are not aware of other potential females who can be plenary speakers. Yet at times they are working with these ladies and they know their potential, but guess what? They choose not to include, not us, I'm not yet at that level, but they choose not to include these potential female speakers. So, for example, we are organizing a conference with my supervisor and my other group members. So we made it 50-50. So we have 50 female and 50 males. But then we're like, just in case we got, because we know the ladies, yeah. So just in case we get a whole bunch of females and throw in 1 man or 2 men. So when the men see this, they will say that's improper. But when you do it, it's proper. When the men do it, it's proper. When we females do it, it's improper. So I call that formal discrimination. Let's try to balance. Anyway, I won't call it pretense, but maybe because we don't speak about it, we are comfortable with a whole list of male speakers with a few females. And a remedy is to speak. We should speak. Maybe they don't know. That's why I'm saying maybe it's non-pretense. No one is talking about it. And also the promotions, possibly no one is talking about it, but it's a reality. You can't say a woman who is away from men keeping school from January to December, year in, year out. Almost you never get challenges. I don't know. They almost never get challenges. So it's better to speak about it. Anyways, so those are the challenges I thought of. And then, so maybe others, you mentioned others, and we see our way forward. Okay, so for scholarships, scholarship opportunities. So I run 2 Facebook groups for scholarships. So one is called Mathematics Scholarships, and this is for mainly PhD announcements. Then the second one is for masters and postdocs. So the first one, at first I started with this one, but I realized there are very few master scholarships and postdocs. So I decided to kind of isolate them so that people don't feel low that it's only PhD. Anyway, so recently recently ICTP advertised. So when's the deadline? January. So the deadline is in January. So there's still time to apply. So how did I come up with these scholarship pages? Or they are groups actually, not pages, because my goal was to allow other people to post. Whoever finds a scholarship, you post. So how did I come up with these scholarship groups? So like I told my friends that I got my scholarship online, but they couldn't believe it. So I told them, you subscribe to the journal links, then you get notifications in your inbox. And that's what happened for my case. So I remember one day, so I sent them the journal links to subscribe. So because after getting the scholarship, I wasn't checking through these emails. So one day I checked and I saw a very nice scholarship. Then I wrote to these guys. I'm like, you guys, did you see this scholarship? It's very nice. They were like, we didn't see it. I felt so low. So I was like, okay, maybe I have an eye for these scholarships. So I decided to start the groups. So whatever scholarship I come across, I put it there. Then others can apply. Okay. Then, yeah, I'll leave the scholarship opportunities later on. I'll leave the slide on later on. Okay, so a few tips. I thought of a few tips. A few tips before you apply or if you're applying. So these are practical. This is basically from experience. Like apply for as many as you can and don't get discouraged. You just keep applying till you get one. So it can be tedious, of course, to apply, but you prepare the standard documents beforehand. So you prepare the standard ones and you start recycling according to the needs of the scholarship. Yeah, of course, the CV is standard. You can't recycle a CV. You're the same. I mean, okay, but you get the cover, like at the cover letter, there's some constant information, then you just recycle according to the needs. So that also, it doesn't take much time. Okay, so another tip is to ask for help in your preparations. So a second look is always important. Now we have many PhD students, we have many doctors, young doctors. So always ask. So you ask for help and someone can go through your document. For example, recently, people I don't even know, but they can send me like the cover letters from my group, of course. So to just have a second eye and advise with the little knowledge I know, I can get at least something to advise. Yeah, so a second look, in other words, is important. And people are always ready to help. No one is too busy to help you. So another, make contacts. So another tip is to make contacts. Make contacts. Start with, I'm not really saying start with the big professors. Start with those around you. So enlarge your academic circles. So you start with those around you, like at summer schools, even the professors at summer school, they are normally friendly because they really come to help us. So that's where I met Professor Balash, then also Professor Balakrishnan, yeah, in these summer schools. And also, like I said, don't go for mainly the big ones. Also make contacts with those other ones in the same category, because these are the people who give you any information is important at any level or from anybody. So for example, I remember I met Victor Juma and Elvis Omondi. There's also Laura at a summer school in Bandari College. Yeah, that was in Mombasa, yeah. But I mean, we kept in touch. And today, if I need anything, if I'm inquiring about anything, I just write to Victor. I just write to Elvis, because remember, we are all spread all over the world now, yeah? So contacts are really necessary. There may be another thing about contacts. Like if you get in touch with these big people, yeah? Like don't go to them like when you need something. Just throw in, like not throwing in, update them, yeah, of your progress. Say, even if you haven't gotten a scholarship, or send in seasonal greetings. Just seasonal greetings. Don't over familiarize. That's another thing. For the big people, don't, because they never have that time to look at emails which are saying, how are you? I mean, you have no business asking him how or he is. Okay. So, but in other words, like you send in several seasonal greetings to kind of bridge the gap, so that maybe you never know if you need help. you can contact them and they already know you. Yeah. Okay, so that's making contacts. Another thing is prepare for the opportunity. Like if you're applying for a scholarship, maybe abroad or anywhere, have the required documents ready. Start the certifying of the documents already because you are certain you will get at one point. So prepare the documents, certify your documents. Abroad, they normally require birth certificate, get it, certify it, have your documents ready. I'll give an example. I applied for, before my defense, I defended in August. So before my defense, that was around June, I applied for some scholarship in Canada, yeah, a postdoc position. So I applied and I was supposed to report on 1st September. I got a rejection. I wasn't accepted, but I got a rejection after, like 1 week after my defense. But when I was reading through the rejection, I was like, okay, but I didn't feel bad because I was like, in case I was accepted, was I ready to move? Just a space of 1 month, I have to apply for the visa. I didn't even have any idea about the visa process in Canada, you know. So if you apply for the scholarship, try also to get that information. How is life there and what? You prepare yourself to move. Or if it's an internal scholarship, yeah, apply for admission. Just like, so once the scholarship comes your way, then you already have an admission later. So anyway, so that's preparing for the opportunity. I pray about everything. So this is typical for Africans, or for me. I pray about everything. Applications and what, everything, I pray about everything. Why? Because once I get a rejection, I'm like, okay, that wasn't mine because I prayed. Like it gives me that peace of mind. I don't feel sorry. Like I'm like, yeah, it wasn't mine because I prayed about it, you know. So pray about everything. I pray about everything. So a few tips, I'm over talking. So a few tips after getting the position. So like I said, everything I'm mentioning is from experience. My experience. The first tip is to ensure a good relationship with your supervisor. Like I said, the last thing you want to have is a bad relationship with your supervisor because you're going to spend a lot of time with this supervisor. So ensure a good relationship with your supervisor and don't be rebellious, yeah? So there are those days where you work overnight, yeah? You're editing, you're meeting your supervisor tomorrow. Then you go with your staff and she rubbishes everything, like change this, change this, change this. So as she's saying, change this, like you're thinking inside, you're like you don't want to accept it, but it's the reality. She's saying, change this, change this. Don't rebel. Don't be like, no, I won't change. No. Okay, you can rebel from your room. Go back to your room and you're like, no. But before her, don't rebel. Like, because one thing, your supervisor is not looking at your sleepless night. She wasn't there when you're keeping awake till that late to come up with something really nice. Another thing is whatever she's telling you is for the best. So because she has good experience, she has a better experience. So whatever she's telling you to change is for the best. Then another thing is, like if you don't change, if you rebel, she will notice that you didn't change this stuff. And tomorrow you're going back to her, you didn't change anything. So why would she help you again when you're not changing anything, yeah? So like you just, for instance, there is something maybe you don't want to change, you feel it's right. You just explain, you give your reasons. You're like, but this is nice. Like, Prof, this is nice. I feel it's better this way, but not rebelling. Then another thing is have empathy. So what do I mean? So you're not your supervisor's only responsibility. Your supervisor could be an editor of several journals. Your supervisor could be, actually all these things in one person: a supervisor, an administrator, a reviewer. She has other students. She has to teach. She has research, and she has a family. So you have to have empathy. Like when you send work, don't be like, she's not looking at my work. She's not looking at my work. No, there are many things. I'm just at the postdoc level, but I'm telling you, I thought maybe I would be a little free, but this is the time where again you have to give back to the math community. Actually, before I defended, I was already sent a paper to review. I struggled. So I mean, each level is demanding So your supervisor has a lot of work. So you have to have that in mind. So the fact that she's creating time for you, be certain she's just creating that time. It's never there. So you must have empathy. You send an email and you wait and wait. Don't sit waiting. Do other things. Send in your work, wait and wait and wait. Don't wait. So once you send in your work, continue doing other things. Read about other stuff so that you don't waste time. In other words. Anyways, another one is, I'm almost done. So another one is, don't compare your progress with others. So don't compare your progress at a PhD level especially, or research. There are some, because the factors are not the same. You have different supervisors. You could even having the same supervisor, but you're working on different projects. So there are some fields where even getting a single publication is a tug of war. There are some fields where you submit a paper and you have to wait for a year to be reviewed. And after that year, you're not expecting that, it's not obvious that you get an acceptance. You can get a rejection. So there are many factors. So just keep doing your best. So of course, not comparing is not also a passport for being lazy, but you do your best. Like, it takes us back to know yourself. Like, am I doing my best? Am I trying my best? So that is all that matters. Anyway, so another thing, okay, of course, don't compare, but also be willing to learn from everyone. Learn from everyone. There's always something to learn from everyone. So I made that one of my principles. For example, you see these bullets? I didn't have them yesterday. So I saw them in yesterday's talk. So I saw them and I liked them and I was like, wow, these are nice. How did I get them? So I Googled. Remember, the presenter was my supervisor, but I didn't try it through her. I Googled. So that takes me also to another point. Don't ask for everything. There are many things you can Google and learn. Actually, when you get something yourself, you learn better. So I had the choice to write to her, but I was like, if she has it, then it should be online. So I Googled and found them. So learn from everyone. There's always something to learn from everyone. Even your colleagues, there are some things they could be doing better. And also ask for help. Ask for help. People won't know you need help if you don't ask. I mean, everyone is busy doing other stuff. So you don't expect them to imagine that Sarah needs help. No, you have to ask for help in many things, Okay. Another thing is avoid mind pollution. So like I said, these are practical for my case. That's what I applied. Avoid mind pollution. But say you're this Facebook person. I'm not discouraging someone from social media. I'm on social media. That's where the groups are, and I'm very active there. Carol knows. I'm very active on social media, especially on my page. But I mean, don't follow up every story. There's a lot of wrong information. There's a lot of negativity. So if you're going to follow up this story, as you're still following up this story, another one pops in, you follow this story, another one pops in, you won't have space to think, We are not journalists, we are mathematicians. So you can get like, for example, I want to get news from home. I have specific pages, reliable pages, where I can check through, like in the evening, I peruse through, okay, this is trending at home, like that, but not consuming everything, Okay. Another thing is to prioritize, still in relation to this, prioritize what you keep in your mind. For example, I have a talk. I have to attend another talk after this one. I'm not the speaker anyway. So, but I mean, you're not gonna put every reminder in your head. Oh, tomorrow I have to do this. Oh, the other day I have to attend this. Oh, I'm meeting my supervisor on this day. You note down these things to free your mind, to allow space to think about important things. Not thinking about a deadline, not thinking about, yeah. So I use my phone in most cases, and I have like a calendar. Just note down. For example, like when you're doing a PhD, you also want to keep the relationships with your friends, yeah? So many times I'm like, oh, I have to write to Carol. Then I note it down. It can just come out of the blue. It's like, oh my God, I've taken long mine and hearing from this person. How is she? I note it down. Then when I'm free, so like maybe I'll be free around 7. I note it down. As I'm relaxing, a notification, talk to Carol, and so it works for me, because at times you have to balance at the same time. Anyways, prioritize. Still pray about everything. Still pray about everything. Pray about the papers you submit. I pray about everything. Why? Because you can send in your paper, then the reviewer just throws it the other way. You're here anxious, when am I receiving a feedback? But someone has not even seen the first page. So you pray for the reviewers, not, of course, not to be selfish that they should prioritize your work, but also that they create time for their work and also for yourself, for your paper, because it's also important, you know. So I pray about everything. That's one of the examples, but I pray about everything. I pray for my supervisors. I pray about everything. Anyways, that's all I had. Then these are the scholarship pages. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you.
Carol?
Carol?
One thing I want to say, thank you, Sarah. We can clap for her. I want to say her challenges. Okay, her slides say these are challenges faced by female mathematicians and all that. But they basically also apply to the males. So the mentees that we have here, you shouldn't be left out. Those problems, we face them every day, every time, and then you're free to ask. Sarah, I would kindly request that probably if you put these links into the chat, people can easily access them than noting them down. And if we are to ask questions, I want to request that we introduce ourselves, because not everyone knows who we are. Either you say you're a mentee or a mentor, and then we can get to know. And someone has a question here. They're saying, Anandra says, hi, I don't have a concrete question, but I needed some advice from you fellow mathematicians on how to carry almost giving up because I have problems in understanding most of the references I get from both my supervisors. Sometimes I think that I'm not reading, but I do read, yet most of the things are darkness. So maybe, Nandra, I could say something before I pass it on to Sarah. It's yes, things look like they're hard. You can't basically give up. They can't be darkness. But the references, if your supervisors probably are professors, I do not know them, probably are professors, or they have high-level knowledge, that's how I usually call it. So if they give you a reference, probably if you would like pull out, because this is what I do for me, I pull out the keywords and then Google search them and then begin from scratch. Usually when you Google search keywords, you might ask something and then they'll bring you something in chemistry. It doesn't make sense. So I usually put variety mathematics, like I put mathematics at the end, so that whatever comes out is a result in mathematics for me. So usually me, what I do is pull out the keywords of what you want to learn, Google search them, and then begin from scratch. Sometimes there are videos that tell you go to YouTube and put in keywords, and then YouTube, and they can do it. They can in a way help you begin from scratch. But I don't know if Sarah has anything to add on.
What have I been doing? I can't fill in this peer review worksheet.
Oh,
And I'm not done.
Sorry, I'm hearing something.
Hello?
Okay, so maybe what to add on that. Already Kara said it, like there are some terms you won't understand, so you have to, first of all, read, but also, like, don't isolate yourself. Like, if you get stuck, you can go to your supervisor. Like, they give you the references, but you read, and if you feel you're really stuck, don't hide. You go to your supervisor. They also understand that some things can be hard, but like, you go when you've really tried your best. So maybe that's what I should say. But like the papers, in most cases, the references, they are not detailed, especially the publications, they are not detailed. So they leave out some stuff which you have like to fill in, or you need the real knowledge to understand the content. So yeah, so I would say, like, you don't isolate yourself or you don't die in silence. And the supervisor in any case expects you to consult. He expects you to consult. So yeah, you just do your best, check for the terms. Of course, another thing is going to the supervisor when you don't know what you're even asking, you know, like you didn't understand anything or you didn't read the key terms. But when you go to him, when you've tried like to already understand some stuff, the key terms, because he will mention a word. If you didn't read it, still it's the same thing. You won't get anything. So yeah, that's all I can say about that.
And then Mfano has a nice thing that it is doing. We have groups. We are forming groups, reading groups. It could be a reading group. It could be a mentoring group. So probably wherever you are at the university, there are people that could be doing whatever, algebra, and then you could decide to get a book or a topic or something and then try to read with your friends, like make it a point, because even if they're not doing exactly as you're doing, but the group helps you in a way that you tell yourselves, this week we are reading chapter 1 of this book, and then at the end of the week we shall discuss, and then each one of you says, I think I understood this, I understood this. By the time you know it, before you know it, like a few weeks away from that time or months, you have understood something. Maybe if you could get a reading group. And then Mfano is also helping us get contacts. Right now, we have so many mentors on this group. We're not all doing the same subject or anything, but you could contact any of these that you think would know, at least they're not doing what you're doing, would know who is doing what you're doing, and then they could find a way of helping you, but giving up shouldn't be an option. That's what I think. Any questions? Sarah, I wanted to ask you something.
Yes, Karen.
What are your mentors? Because the inspiration, you told us the inspiration is you didn't want anyone from your family or your loved ones to go through whatever you went through. But who are your mentors? Like, how did you pull through? Because apparently you're in a foreign country, everyone feels not okay in a foreign country. And then we are wondering, how do you get there, at the top there?
Who were my mentors? That's a hard one. Why? Because I'm now thinking about the mentors, honestly. So apart from maybe having the good teachers, the teachers I mentioned at advanced level, so they helped me, but they were my teachers at advanced level. So like they weren't university teachers or they weren't advancing in more, yeah? Then, so the first mentor I can think of is Dr. Severi, Dr. David Severi. He taught me algebra. He's the one who introduced me to algebra in Makerere University. So besides my friends' compliments and encouragement to do math, by the way, like normally I take people's compliments serious, especially I trust that friend. I remember I attended some course by Dr. David Severi, and when we got out, a friend told me that he thought no one was following until I answered a question. So it was funny, but it helped me, yeah? So, you know, I mean, to them, they were surprised that someone was following, yeah? So that also helped me to put it into my mind that possibly I have this potential in algebra. But also, beside those compliments, Dr. Severi is a very excellent supervisor and lecturer at the same time. Yeah, so I think he's the first mentor I made, I should say. My first mentor was Dr. Severi David. He introduced me to that algebra, and even in research, he's excellent. Then apart from also the role models I saw along the way, I was looking at Professor Balash, I was looking at Professor Balakrishnan, Jennifer Balakrishnan. So she also kind of motivated me to continue. By the way, one thing I didn't mention, I remember Professor Balakrishnan came to Makerere University and I did a project in these summer schools, yeah? And I did a project in her lectures. Remember, they have these series, yeah? So I did a project from her lectures and I did well. So she was already thinking of taking me into number theory, elliptic curves and what, she's into those number theory stuff. And so before she could think of a plan, then that's when I was already applying. So that's when I got, around the same time, I got this position here. So I was looking up to maybe these other, they were safe friends, Professor Balash and Professor Balakrishnan. And so when I came here, of course, my supervisors, it's been a wonderful experience working with them. My supervisor, my main supervisor, Professor Fish, and also Dr. Rizna. So I should say those are my mentors, basically my supervisors and Professor Balash and also Professor Balakrishnan. Thank you, Carol.
Okay, do we have any other questions? Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask the question or type in the chat.
Can I ask something?
Okay, Diletta.
Yeah, so maybe I'll introduce myself. So I'm Diletta and now I'm an assistant professor in algebraic geometry at the University of Amsterdam. And I was at the workshop in Nairobi a few years ago. So as I said, I'm really glad that I'm seeing some of the people that I met at the workshop. So thank you, Sarah. It was really a very inspiring talk. I really enjoyed it. And I was curious to know, I mean, I guess moving from Uganda to Austria is such a big cultural change. So I realize it's probably very different. And I was curious to see if you noticed some differences even in doing math and if people do math in a different way. So even in the atmosphere of the math department and the kind of mathematical culture, if it was different coming from Makerere to Graz. Thanks.
Thank you. Outside academics, it wasn't really different. It wasn't very different for me because starting with the food and what, like at home, I used to eat rice and beans. So when I came here and I could get rice and beans, I was safe. So, and also I went to a church immediately. I went to a church. Some friend took me to a church. So I felt at home from the beginning. Then at the university, it was really challenging because I didn't have this experience of exercise classes and what. Remember, I started with these preliminary courses, yeah, before I was enrolled for the PhD officially. So it was a totally different experience for me. I struggled a little, I should say I really struggled a little because like I was expected to prepare 5 exercises. I remember my supervisor told me that I could not do the 5 courses at once, but I felt so strong. I was like, I would do them, you know? I was like, I would do them. So I thought they were like our courses, you know? Then when I came here, it was totally different. The exercise class was also very demanding. It was like an independent course where you have to prepare the exercises and you have to present. So every week I had to present 5 times. So it was totally a very different experience for me. I struggled and also, but the students were a little welcoming. They were welcoming. There were other, was I the only African? Yes, but they were welcoming. They didn't see me as a different person. So that helped me. So I fit in somehow, but still I worked very hard. It was a new experience. I could struggle with exercises. I couldn't ask my supervisor. Remember, it's not yet the level of asking the supervisor. I had to do it my way. I tried, yeah, but good enough, I excelled. Then at the department, after now struggling with the courses, anyway, I did well in the courses. But after finishing the courses, the environment was very different. Like they make everyone comfortable. Like they change even the photocopy or everything, they change everything to English, yeah, to make everyone comfortable. They gave me a keyboard which is in English, an English keyboard. Yeah, and they made me feel at home. So it's a very welcoming environment within the department, my institute. For the research, I was already in ring theory. So I started, of course, from zero, working with my supervisor's new project because she's in integer valued polynomials. But it wasn't very different from, I had the background in algebra, so it wasn't so different from what I was doing. Like it wasn't totally a new thing because I mean, it's still ring theory. These are rings of integer value. So I had the basics. It's just that I hadn't worked with her ring. So I didn't really face big challenges in the research. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Then maybe
Any
also,
other questions? Okay.
so the behavior-wise, like coming from Africa, one thing I wasn't comfortable with like seeing people kissing on streets. I was like, so like that was strange for me, yeah. But still, I understood the culture, so I could check and understood that this is how it is. It's different. It's very different in Africa. We have those limitations, but yeah, it's different. So I accepted it. Yeah, at first it was strange, but I later accepted it, that it's the culture.
So I think people are resisting to ask questions, but one thing I want to put out is that Mfano is doing it. We have our page, our website, so we should visit the page, check out the mentors and see which mentors fit in your group and to whom you can be a mentee, and the mentors, we should go out more, pass on the emails and help these other people that are looking up to us. And I think I will hand over to Geoffrey to say something.
Geoffrey, I don't see the chat. I wanted to share his.
You need to stop sharing your screen first.
Oh.
We are very, very grateful. We are very, very grateful to had you, Sarah, give us a very fantastic talk about your journey, and you explained to us how it has been very fantastic, helping us understand how even to relate with supervisors and how female students can handle the challenges that they have, and generally opportunities available to students at large. And we are very, very grateful. Our moderator, Caroline, we are very grateful. Caroline is also a mentor in this in Mfano Africa initiative in algebraic geometry. So we are having a reading group on singularities and deformation. We have other mentors who, some of them might not have had an opportunity to be in this meeting, but we will extend an hand to Sarah, and the letter I will write to you officially to be able to join hands with us to be able to mentor students who might want to ask you very specific questions about the kind of research you do, and if you can be able to lift their hands to get to the frontiers of the kind of research subject you're working on. And so we are very grateful to everyone who came into the call. And for those who came after I had done a brief introduction, Mfano Africa is a mentorship, a mathematical sciences mentorship scheme targeting students across the continent, Africa. And
Geoffrey, a moment.
Yes.
A moment. Someone is asking for a link, website link to Mfano. Probably if you're kind enough to share it in the chat.
Okay, great. I'm going to do that straight away. And so I'm very, very grateful. If as I share the link, I probably might I want to ask briefly if any mentor in the in Mfano. Okay, there was someone to give a vote of thanks, Sharon. So she can give a vote of thanks as I share the link and say final words. And we are very, very grateful to also have the letter joining us. We are exhilarated that you found time to be with us.
Thank you. Also, just before, I just wanted to mention, I'll put it in the chat now. So it's a fellowship for female PhD students. There is an open call starting at the beginning of 2021. So I hope it might be useful.
Geoffrey Mboya,
Thank you.
Director of Mfano Africa. Dr. Sarah Nakato, who was our speaker today. Carolina Maya, our moderator, and fellow mathematicians in the room. Good evening. My name is Sharon Chebet. I'm MSc student in applied mathematics. On behalf of Mfano Africa and the entire organizing team, led by Geoffrey Mboya, who is our director, I'd like to extend our heartily vote of thanks to you, Dr. Sarah Nakato, for sharing with us your academic journey and many opportunities in mathematics. We appreciate, we are grateful. Thank you to everyone who found time out of your busy.
Okay.
You're muted, Sharon.
Sharon, you muted.
Sharon is muted.
Okay. Okay, we are very grateful. We are very grateful to have everyone, and thank you for giving that vote of thanks. We are very grateful for everyone who found time. I know it's very hard, especially in Africa, to be able to even find internet to be able to join events like this, and we are doing everything we can to be able to apply for funding, and very soon we'll be able to maybe at the latest, maybe at early next year, we'll be able to give people some token to be able to join meetings like this. And we are going to send a call for students to be able to visit Oxford, to visit some mentors in Oxford for mentorship, so that they can be able to apply for positions and work on projects, mini projects that can help them extend the process or build their PhD application prospects. And so I'm very, very grateful that Sarah found time to talk to us, and I hope that we are going to still have collaboration with you and everyone who was in the call.
Thank you, Geoffrey.
Maybe if everyone can turn on their cameras and we take a single photo. So some of this can help in some of this quote unquote propaganda in applying funding and things like that.
Thank you, Mboya, for organizing this event. Sarah, that was a very nice and motivating talk, inspiring and very exciting to watch, not boring. Yeah. We wish you could have continued. Yeah, so thank you so much. It's my first time to meet you here, but I used your Facebook groups for a long time to apply for scholarships. I didn't know they were your groups. So sometimes when you are doing a good thing, you don't know whether you are touching. So God bless.
Thank you.
I'm glad you saw them.
Yeah.
Okay, bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
I mean, you're free to leave, or you can hang out and you talk more with people.
Caroline, how are you? I wanted to ask you. I haven't seen you since 2 years. Sorry, you're muted.
Ileta, how are you?
I'm good.
It is
I'm
2
good.
years.
2
Very
years.
long years.
Yeah. So, but you're now with Michael.
Yeah, I'm working with Michael.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I closed the door. So you are, it's the first year of the PhD, or you started already last year?
I started in 2019, so officially this is my second year.
And did you manage to visit Glasgow, or in the end with the pandemic it was not possible?
It was not possible, so we asked Simons to extend it to next year, so they agreed exactly for us. So next year, hopefully in summer, we can go.
Okay, yeah, let's really hope that the situation will resolve.
And then, yeah. So yeah, mathematics, but I'm getting there slow, piece by piece. Like the beginning, things were so hard. Even just understanding one bit of a flow or a threefold, which was loads.
But I think it's really the experience of everyone doing a PhD. I mean, the first month are darkness. I mean, I remember the first month of the PhD going to seminar and not understanding not even a word of what was going on around me. And so I think it really helps if you have other fellow PhD student you can talk to, as Sarah was saying, having people you can ask, maybe other, I don't know, postdoc in the group or even other students. I mean, just sharing ideas together. And because it's hard for everyone, it's not you. So, I mean, I think it's really in general, it's doing a PhD in math is tough, and the beginning is challenging, but it gets better. So.
Yeah, it gets better with time, but I'm getting there step by step. I'm not giving up.
Yeah, that's the most important part. Just keep going. Yeah.
And just to mention, now that both Sarah and Dileta are in Europe, I'm hoping that things open up. Maybe you can meet in a conference and know each other better. This is also a way of getting collaborations. I mean, algebra, the kind of topics you both work on are not far-fetched, are not far apart. That is, you can find something to work on or mentor students together back in Uganda with Sarah later. Yeah.
Yeah, I really hope that when the pandemic is resolved, we can go back to travel and meeting people. So.
Okay, I have to leave. I have to connect to another talk. So thank you so much. Now I have a notification here.
All right.
Yeah, we are happy you came.
As I was talking, then a notification was also already showing me that I have to go to the next talk. So thank you so much, Carol. Thank you so much for Geoffrey. Thank you so much, Geoffrey. What was I saying? Thank you so much, Carol. Thank you, Geoffrey. Thank you, Professor Dileta. I'm glad to see you. I didn't know you.
Yeah, no, it was really nice. And thank you for the talk. It was really inspiring.
You can. Matthias, thank you. But I remember I saw you sometime.
We just chatted in Facebook in 2017 when I was, I have not met you before. We only chatted. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we ever met. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I'll be glad to join the team. I'm very glad to join the team.
Thank you.
So I have to connect to another talk. Thank you. Bye.
I'll write to you formally.
Bye.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Matthias, what are you working in?
I'm working on a field of statistics, compiler chains, compiler theory and Markov chains in the University of Mississippi.
Oh.
This is my second year. Yeah. Yeah, and you said you are working in on algebra, right?
Algebraic geometry.
Oh, algebraic geometry. Okay. The same field with Geoffrey.
Yes,
Yeah.
Neta is also working in algebraic geometry. She did mentor us in 2018. A wonderful talks. I still have the notes. I refer to. I mean, wonderful. We hope that in future you might also be able to come back to Nairobi again.
Yeah, no, I was supposed to be back in 2020, but then the pandemic happened. It's planned for 2021, so let's hope that we can have it. Yeah.
Yes, we'll definitely.
Fred, you still have a picture of a blow up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so I also have to go. Thank you so much. It was really a nice event, and let me know if I can be helpful. So keep me in touch.
Okay.
It was really nice to see you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Matthias,
Mhm.
we are very grateful. I finally found PRTSC.
Yeah, PRTS. You printed the screen. I also printed it, but the number of participants was 18. There's a time we had a maximum of 25.
Yeah, you were 25, 26. Sometimes it went to 28.
26. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I got it at 18. It's not full attendance what I printed.
I mean, even this will whenever you are planning for funding, people want to know, really, are these events really existing or something like that. So this usually are helpful when you're putting. Right now, I'm writing applying for some fund, and some of these are needed in being able to get some of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is an important record. Yeah. Hey, Lawrence, what's up? Are you reading? Lawrence is.
Yeah, Matthias. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Are you studying?
Are you really in China?
No, I'm in Kenya. I'm not in China.
Sure, that's you're in China.
No, Karo, I'm around. Yeah.
Okay.
So, China doesn't want people, international students entering there. They take corona. I mean, they are so cautious.
But won't you be going in January?
It is still unknown, so you can't tell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you've already begun working, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. And learning a lot of Chinese,
Is that a requirement that you must?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, one of my units is learning Chinese language. You have to know the basics, like how to communicate.
Yeah, so if you go to the shop, you can be able to. If you ask for tomato, you're not given oranges.
Yeah.
You have to say ching ching chong.
Yeah, but at least you can enjoy being at home first before you go. You will go there soon. The people coming, I think they are now applying for their visas to come in January.
Nandwa.
Getting to apply to.
Yes, Mr. Mboya.
Yes, my good friend.
Hello, Prof. Yeah, I'm fine.
I think the answer that Caroline gave was fantastic, and that's what was in my mind. I mean, talking to people.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some of these things you can't really ask your supervisor every now and then, but I finding people to talk to, and that's why even forming a reading group here in Mfano, that was last week. I was chatting with a postdoc in modeling, but this is not biological modeling. This is mathematical modeling, and I think I think it will be nice to talk to him when he'll be ready to
present.
He wants to give a crash course in modeling, and these people are the ones who can be able to give you guidance on what to do if talking to your supervisor every now and then seems very uncomfortable, which is the case.
Okay, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And plus, they know which people can help you.
Yeah.
There is not someone else that is working in your line.
Yeah, and that is the key line. That's the bottom line of this platform. Joram Andrew, is the first time I'm seeing you. So please say something. Joram? Is someone called Joram who is still with us? Sharon, we are very, very grateful for that vote of thanks. That was nice. We were not sure whether you had finished or you mistakenly muted.
Hello?
Yeah, yes, tell us something, Joram. Hello?
Hello, everyone.
Yes, Joram, we can hear you.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Okay. It's my first time joining this.
We are glad to have you.
But yeah, but it has been fruitful. Looking forward for the next session.
Next, we love similar session, and most session going forward will be mathematical. So we'll have people giving talks, and we'll also be having research groups. Reading groups, where people are going to pick a book and they read together. But this will be very closed, maybe 3 people or 4 people. And so we'll urge people to go to the site and register either as mentors or mentees. I mean, I can you feel free to register as both a mentee and a mentor. I mean, right now, I also have a mentor, right? He was a postdoc here, and we started speaking last week, and it has been very fantastic. So having people to talk to is very great. So you can be both a mentor and a mentee at the same time, because there are people who are also coming into the platform who are undergraduate 3rd years, who wants to even find somebody to talk to. Just finding somebody who can
Okay.
Yeah, so feel free to register either as mentor or as a mentee. Yes, somebody asked me this before. Sure. So should I register a mentor or a mentee? Because they are in a position to mentor an undergraduate because they have finished their masters, but they also want to apply for funding and go for this PhD position. So they also need a mentor, somebody to talk to. They don't feel comfortable with the things that they know already. So you can't be both a mentor and a mentee at the same time.
Okay.
Caroline,
thank you, guys.
Yes, the Caroline, I think I saw Brian. We chatted with him privately earlier on. Is he gone already?
Yeah, he's off.
Oh, okay. Pass my regards to him. I mean, we should get in touch at some point.
Hello.
You should send an email.
Yes, Nandwa.
Yes, I have a request from fellow mathematicians.
Okay.
So how I'm trying to apply for some scholarships. But then most of the key thing that they require is to write a motivation note. But then I don't know which is the best structure to actually write such a letters to help you to get a scholarship.
Are you writing them for scholarship with the PhD you're already doing, or a new one?
The PhD I'm doing, I'm currently I received my admission just this September. But then I don't have the funding. So any place I get how to apply for scholarship, maybe even to fund the PhD that you have already started, they want you to write a motivation letter to back up the application. So how would you?
The motivation letter is you basically talk about yourself. First, you introduce yourself, and then you talk about your academic credentials and all that. And then your aspirations, what do you want to do after your PhD, or what is your dream and all that. And then after writing it, a few things, because you want to make these people believe that they can give you their funding will not go for nothing. Because if you say after my PhD, I want to rest, basically, you don't gain from that. So after writing it down, you probably pass it through your supervisor, but should read through it, because both of you want this funding as your supervisor, and you need it more, but then you also want it. So you pass it through your supervisor, and then he can make a final comments, and then you're good to go. But it should be basically you, academic credentials, and then what you want to do with and after the PhD.
And thank you so much. Thank you so much, Caroline. Nando, I think we talked. I talked to you about. I told you about Caroline's recent breakthrough prize from International Mathematics Union, and I remember telling you that this is a very fantastic kind of opportunity for you. Now that you are interested in, I mean, you already have because already you have a position, you have an admission at the University of Nairobi, but the big problem here is funding, which I really understand. And so it's nice that we have Caroline here, and I was telling you about how you have to, because I think you have a supervisor who is also who is based in Sussex. And this is the best person who can be able to recommend you to a funding like this. And now that Caroline was very successful this year, maybe next time this advertisement, I think it is annually. Is it annually, Caroline? If I'm right,
it's already on. It's already on.
Yeah.
And
so
its deadline is in January, if I'm not mistaken, January 2021.
So
the advert is out.
I really think Nando should put this application. I'm talking about the letters, the motivational letter. I think I wrote some kind of a document that I've been sending to students even before Mfano, to be able to know exactly how to put on something like this. And I even attached at the end what I used as my motivational letter when I was applying to different scholarships when I was applying for my PhD. And I think I will be able to send this. And we were also looking for some time so that we can be able to talk about this together and see exactly how to put this up. And I'm happy that maybe in the course of the week we should find some time and talk more about this. But I would also request Caroline to tell you more about this BGF so that you know more about it.
Yeah, because
yeah,
yes, I sent the link that you shared with the supervisor at Sussex.
Yes.
And then you said that he was willing to actually to recommend me, but then in the link there was no deadline. So I don't know maybe whether it was there or not. Maybe do they really specify or they didn't specify, Carol?
I think I read it somewhere. I didn't pay so much attention to it, but they said January. They should have said January 2021. I'm not so sure. But then mine, I got to know about it in March, and the deadline was 30th May. So it should be that kind of time length, 4 or 5 months. I'm not so sure. But one thing you need to do is, because there are so many documents you need to put together, you need your transcripts that are certified, you need your passport number. And so you need to give yourself a week, put all those documents together, write a motivation letter, which you should write yourself, and then send your supervisor to look through. Maybe the supervisor in Nairobi to give you comments, and then you can send it to the supervisor in Sussex. And then he's going to apply for you, and he basically does everything, because Michael was asked to do everything, like submit everything from application. He filled the application online, submitted. The only thing I provided were my documents, and just submitted. So he's going to recommend you, and he's going to find referees for you, because they asked for referees at one point, but the referees are going to be phoned by him. So your supervisor that is going to recommend you is going to do everything. All you need is put the documents together, write that letter, and probably pray like Sarah said.
And just to ask, is this funding, Caroline, you didn't get to tell us more about it. You talked briefly, maybe because of the talk of Sarah. But is it full funding, right? It's fully funded.
Yeah, it's full funding. They give up to $10,000 US. So it depends on your budget per year.
So this is
$10,000
of the university.
Yeah, so your budget, it should be high. You should write a budget too. Your tuition, university, living allowance, accommodation, and like basic needs. So they give up to $10,000 US. So that's so
annually.
much money. Yeah, annually. Yeah.
But
And they check
10,000 should be 1 million in a year. Yeah, that's
yeah. So you can make a budget that exhausts everything as long as there is reason, and it depends on your country that you're living in, the economy.
Do you want to talk to Nandwa maybe later on more about this and what he needs to do? Because it seems like his supervisor in Sussex doesn't know more about this, what exactly he's supposed to do. Would you want to talk to Nandwa more, even out of this meeting at some point? Maybe
Yeah, you can send me an email. It's fine. Like you can ask me anything, but basically everything is on the website.
Okay.
Maybe you can share your email, Carol.
Maybe privately in the chat you can just, or I also have it. I can send it to you. The Gmail, right?
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have Nanda's WhatsApp, so it's just easy to copy and paste in the laptop here. Yeah. Or you can also write it in the chat, but in a private. If you also like, you can just put it up there. People also want to talk to you. Like Sharon would like to maybe talk to you later. Okay. So if you are comfortable, yeah. So you can, yeah. Sharon.
She's shying away. Just don't make her feel shy.
Okay, so
maybe network, maybe.
Okay. So, but we are very grateful. Carol, we are very happy for you. By the way, I'm very when I heard about this, I was very exhilarated, and when I was, I mean, at the end of the day, when I'm exhausted after work, I usually go online and see what people are up to, and I stumbled upon this Makerere University Facebook page. And I saw this information. Even before then, I saw it on Abraham Ganibol's website, my supervisor's initiative in the research group that is going on in Africa. And I was gearing to write you an email, and I think I wrote you an email to congratulate you about this. It's very grateful. It's very great that you got this funding. It can be very hard to work to work without funding. So it's going to go.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the best in your research.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Nandwa, bye everyone.
Bye.
Aaron, we're talking later.
Thank you.
Okay.